In the heart of the green valley, surrounded by rolling hills and dancing baobab trees, lay the village of Omu, a place where peace lived and families grew strong. In that village were two sisters, Nia and Lami, born 2 seasons apart. Their mother often said, "They may have come from two wombs, but they share one soul." Nia, the older one, was calm like the river. Her words were few, but her heart was deep. Lami, fiery and curious, danced through life with a joy that made flowers bloom in her wake. They fetched water together, wove baskets side by side, and shared every dream beneath the stars. The villagers called them the twin spirits of Omu. The sisters did everything together, from morning market trips to moonlit storytelling nights. Nia protected Lami from bullies, and Lami cheered Nia through every hard task. Their bond was more than sisterhood, it was a covenant of hearts. Even when they argued, they couldn't stay apart for more than a day. Their hut echoed with laughter, their dreams were spoken in unison, and they wore matching waist beads as a sign of their unity. Every year, Omu celebrated the harvest with the festival of first fruits. Drums beat through the hills as villagers danced and feasted. On this day, visitors from neighboring lands would come to trade and join the celebration. This year, as the sun bathed the village in golden light, a new face appeared in the crowd. He was tall, with skin the shade of polished mahogany and eyes like dawn after a storm. His name was Kweku, from the village of Njoro. He carried carved wooden flutes and laughter in his voice. Kweku played his flute beneath the old iroko tree, drawing a crowd of children and elders. His charm was effortless, and even the strictest elders found themselves smiling. Nia watched from afar, intrigued. Lami, bold and playful, approached him first, offering roasted yam and a bright smile. They talked, laughed, and Kweku's eyes lingered on them both, but especially on Nia, though he said nothing. That night, the sisters talked about him by the fire, giggling like girls often do when a new mystery enters their lives. As days passed, both sisters found themselves thinking of Kweku. Lami brought him fruits when he played his flute. Nia watched from the shadows, her heart whispering truths she dared not voice. They never spoke their feelings aloud, but silence grew between them. Their laughter grew thin. Dreams began to fill with the same face, the same voice, and the same longing. One evening, while Lami was away, Kweku approached Nia. From his bag, he pulled a bracelet carved from ebony and adorned with tiny shells. "For you," he said, "because you are the calm after the storm." Nia took it, heart pounding. She hid it under her wrapper and said nothing to Lami. That night, she wore it to bed, the shells cool against her skin, a secret she cradled like fire. The next morning, as they sat under the mango tree, Lami leaned against Nia's shoulder and whispered, "I think I'm falling in love with him." Nia froze, her fingers gripping the bracelet under her wrapper. She forced a smile and nodded, saying nothing. Her silence rang louder than drums. That night, Nia took off the bracelet and buried it beneath a rock near the stream, but the guilt clung to her like smoke. She smiled when Lami talked about Kweku, but her heart began to split. Lami, sensing something, asked, "Do you think he likes me?" Nia replied, "Maybe," though she knew the truth was far more complicated. Days passed. Nia stayed busy with chores, avoiding Lami. Lami grew quiet, her jokes faded. The bond that once danced like fire between them now flickered like dying embers. They still walked together, but with space between them, still ate together, but their plates remained full. Something sacred was slipping. The elders noticed. Their mother wept in secret. Children who once followed the sisters now watched from afar. Drums no longer echoed joy, and even the trees seemed to sigh. The village of Omu, once strengthened by the love of two sisters, now trembled at the quiet war blooming in their hearts. Under the cloak of twilight, Nia and Kweku began to meet by the river's edge. They spoke of dreams, family, and the kind of love that makes hearts forget reason. He kissed her hand, then her lips. Her guilt was buried under waves of longing. Lami noticed Nia's absence but said nothing. She convinced herself that Kweku must be busy with his trades or caught in village affairs. She held on to hope like a child clutches a broken doll, fragile, blind. One evening, returning from the forest early, Lami followed the sound of a flute. She crept near the river and saw them, Nia resting in Kweku's arms, her smile brighter than the moon. The bracelet was back on Nia's wrist. Lami's heart shattered into pieces so small they could never be mended. She didn't speak. She turned and ran. That night the sisters fought, words thrown like daggers. You knew I loved him. He chose me. You lied. Tears, curses, and broken trust spilled into the room like a storm. Their mother tried to intervene, but they pushed her away. The hut that once held love now held rage. In Omu, a calabash gifted to daughters is a symbol of unity. Nia smashed hers on the ground, the pieces scattered like their memories. That act echoed across the village. Elders whispered, "The sisters are cursed, nothing good will come from this." Their mother sat alone, weaving cloth with trembling fingers. She wept for the daughters she once raised as one. She lit a candle at the shrine and prayed to the ancestors for healing, but even the flames seemed unsure. Kweku, torn and ashamed, asked to speak with both sisters. "I never meant to hurt you," he said, "but my heart chose Nia." Lami stared through him. Nia looked away. It was over, but no one felt peace. The decision that should have ended the pain only deepened it. Heartbroken, Lami ventured deep into the forbidden part of the forest. There she found a spirit priestess, half woman, half shadow. "I want the pain to end," Lami whispered. The spirit offered her a ritual to ease her heartbreak. But all magic comes with a price. That night, Lami danced beneath the moonlight, surrounded by ash and smoke. She chanted the words the spirit taught her, in her eyes sorrow, fire, and vengeance. In the days that followed, animals grew restless. The sky seemed darker, the winds colder. A strange sickness spread across Omu. Crops wilted before harvest. Wells dried up. Children grew pale. The elders blamed a curse, a spirit angered by betrayal. Nia dreamt of rivers turning to blood. Lami woke each night with blackened hands. During a village gathering, Lami stood and pointed at Nia. "She brought this darkness. She broke the sacred bond." Gasps echoed through the crowd. Nia stood tall, tears in her eyes. "You invited darkness into your heart," she replied. And in that moment, the sisters knew. They were no longer one soul. They were rivals under a broken sky. The village elders met beneath the sacred tree. After much debate, they declared Kweku an unwelcome presence in Omu. "Your presence has broken the peace," they said. "Leave and do not return." With his head bowed and heart heavy, Kweku left at dawn without saying goodbye. Nia and Lami no longer shared meals or paths. They became shadows of each other, each blaming the other for the ruin of their lives and the land. Their mother fell ill from the heartache. The villagers avoided them, as if their anger was contagious. One night, the sisters each dreamt of their late grandmother. She stood between them weeping. "You were once light to each other," she said, "but now your light blinds the truth." They awoke with tears, but neither dared reach for the other. Kweku, traveling back to Nyoro, was ambushed on the road by thieves. They demanded his flute and the bracelet. He resisted. A blade flashed. Days later, a trader from Joro brought news. A young man was found by the roadside, dead. When word reached Omu, the sisters reacted in silence. Nia buried the bracelet in the soil. Lami stood by the river, stone-faced. The boy they once loved was gone, and so too was their youth. Nia wandered into the forest, hoping to find peace. Lami fasted in solitude, hoping for a sign. But both were haunted by guilt, replaying moments they couldn't undo. The spirit priestess watched from the shadows, waiting. As thunder roared over Omu, the sisters separately heard whispers from the wind. "Come back to where it began," the forest urged. They returned to the grove, one from the east, the other from the west. They met in silence. There, the spirits of the ancestors appeared. "Your hatred poisons the land, but healing is not free. One must give up her future, the other must forgive the past." They were given one night to decide. Each sister entered a cave of mirrors, reliving every moment they betrayed the other. Their pain reflected back 1,000-fold. When they emerged, they wept, not from anger but from truth. To break the curse, one sister had to give up love, family, and dreams. Nia stepped forward. Let it be me. I caused the first crack. But Lami grabbed her hand. Number I let darkness enter. The spirits fell silent, then whispered, Love is sacrifice. Unity is strength. And the wind began to shift. As dawn broke, Nia returned to the grove alone. She knelt before the altar and offered the beads of her heart, a vow never to marry, never to bear children, and to live in service to the ancestors. The wind stilled. The grove brightened. Her sacrifice was accepted. Lami wept under the moon, realizing the depth of her anger and the wounds she helped create. She returned to their hut, finding it empty, only Nia's wrap folded neatly on the mat. The silence echoed her regret. The village gathered under the ancient baobab. Elders lit incense, children carried water, and the women sang songs of renewal. Nia stood at the center, her eyes serene. Lami knelt before her and poured water over Nia's feet. Forgiveness flowed. Kweku's grave was dug, but when villagers went to place a carved flute upon it, they found it empty. Only his bracelet remained, glowing faintly in the soil. His spirit wanders, an elder said. Storms rolled in for 7 nights. Each time, villagers saw a silhouette playing a flute by the riverbank. Naya followed one night and found Kweku's spirit. He spoke softly. I only wanted peace. Forgive me. Then he vanished with the dawn. The sisters were told by the ancestors they must restore the broken calabash that symbolized their bond. Only then could peace return to the land. They gathered the pieces from the forest floor and began the slow task of mending. To complete the healing, they had to return Kweku's bracelet to his people. The journey to Njoro was long and tense, but the sisters traveled together, sharing stories and apologies beneath the stars. Kweku's mother and kin met them with fury and grief. You brought his death, they cried. Nia knelt in silence. Lami offered the bracelet. We came to tell the truth, she said, and to honor him. An elder from Nyoro handed them a sealed letter Kweku had left behind. In it he wrote, I cannot choose between them. I leave tomorrow to start anew. I will love them both in memory, not in life. Gasps filled the room. The sisters were stunned. The tragedy had never been meant. Outside, the rain began to fall. Nia and Lami stood beneath the downpour, holding each other tightly. Their pain washed away, and in its place, the laughter of their youth returned. They were whole again. The rain stopped. The river flowed clear. That night, Kweku appeared to both sisters in a dream, not as a ghost, but as light. He smiled and bowed. You have given me rest. Now give yourselves peace. They woke with calm in their hearts. The sisters returned home. The village welcomed them with cautious joy. The skies cleared. Birds returned to the trees. Even the elders, once stern, smiled with relief. The curse had lifted. Nia and Lami built a school for girls, teaching them love, history, and forgiveness. Children sang songs inspired by their story, and the village grew stronger with every lesson shared. A new tradition was born, the Festival of Calabashes. Each year, pairs of siblings presented calabashes they painted together, symbols of unity and healing. The first calabash was painted by Nia and Lami. During a village gathering, the eldest matriarch stood and raised her staff. These sisters brought us back from darkness, she declared. Let them be remembered as peacemakers of Omu. That night, the stars danced in the sky. 2 bright ones moved closer than ever before. Twin stars, the children whispered, like Nia and Lami. The stars were named in their honor. As seasons passed, their story was told around fires, in schools, and during ceremonies. Grandparents would say, once 2 sisters nearly lost each other, but they found their way back. Their names became legend. Years later, Lami fell in love again with a kind healer from the hills. Nia smiled through tears, blessing the union. Love returned, not to divide, but to complete. On the eve of Lami's wedding, the sisters sat by the fire. They clasped hands and made a vow. Nothing, no one, no sorrow will ever break us again. They sealed it with laughter. In their old age, Nia and Lami sat surrounded by grandchildren. They told their tale not with sadness, but with wisdom. Love can hurt, Nia said, but love can also heal, Lami finished. and the fire before them danced as if remembering. Moral lesson: true love, whether romantic or familial, requires honesty, sacrifice, and forgiveness. This story teaches us that even the strongest bonds can be broken by jealousy and pride, but they can also be healed through humility and love. Sisterhood, like any relationship, must be cared for in both joy and pain. Choosing unity over bitterness can restore not only hearts but entire communities. Thank you for watching and supporting my channel. Until next time, stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe for future stories.